So this is just sparkling water with a little bit of lemon
Yeah.
and ginger.
Okay. You want this?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And I got us some strawberries as well.
Nice. Ah, that's.
Yeah, and I got some stickers. Like at the end, I was gonna give you some stickers. I also actually have a little flyer I made from the event you were playing.
Great.
I still have a few of those, so I thought it would be nice to give you.
It was nice. I love the.
Yeah, the design. I made it myself. Like I'm still trying to figure out actually how to like do this properly. But I feel like now I'm at a point where I either spend more time getting better at graphic design, or I give it to someone else to do it, and I focus on the music. So, yeah, let me check. Okay, so quick disclaimer: this is my first podcast. I am by far not a experienced podcaster or anything, so I am a little bit nervous, but I think all is gonna go well. I think you're amazing guy. And yeah, let's just dive right in. We actually met through Iman Dieper.
Yeah.
He's a guy from Berlin. I met through an online marketing course we were doing together. And I was looking for artists to play on my event. And he said he has a guy on his label, and that's you. And then I got in touch with you, and yeah, that's like the start of our connection. Then you got to play at one of the Techno Bliss events in May, like in spring,
Yeah.
at Café Camion, the summer bar. It was a pretty sunny, lovely day, and I got to experience your amazing live set, and I thought it was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
How did you? What did you think of the event? There was like at the beginning not so many people, but yeah, what was your experience?
I think it was a nice event. Yeah, it's true. At the beginning, people were eating, so it was a bit strange because we were performing, and yeah, but small. They came and they start to dance. So that was a good achievement when you can make people move from eating and come in the dance floor. I think it's always good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like I said, I absolutely loved your set. It was for me a nice. I think you played second. There was a friend of mine playing first, I guess.
Yes.
This was a nice transition to, you play like a bit melodic house, melodic techno as well, but like maybe a bit softer than the artist after you.
Yeah.
So I think it was a nice transition from, like the sunny eating chill part to more like the dancing part. So this was the first time we met, and then the second time was actually last weekend.
Yeah.
Through our now mutual friend Carlos,
Yes.
who we also both met at the Techno Bliss event.
Absolutely.
And yeah, he told me you were playing there in Brussels in Spirito, and I had to say, what a nice venue, man.
Yeah.
Like it was so beautiful. It's like inside a church. And even though the acoustics, like the room itself, so it's super high, the acoustics could be really bad, but they put like all speakers like almost everywhere in every corner. And the lights were amazing. And like, how was that experience?
That experience was amazing for me because actually the Spirito is a quite big club in Brussels. So yeah, also I was a bit stressed playing over there, but absolutely the place is like magic. Playing in actually it was a church before 10 years ago. It was a evangelist church. They keep it everything quite the same, and they during these years, I think the last 2 years, they even improved a little bit in the sound, because the sound system was quite bad before, but now, yeah, and the event was organized by Irma. He's a promoter of a kind of more spiritual house event, and yeah, they're really nice people. I met them this summer during a festival that they organized. I played for them, and they really enjoyed my set, and they asked me to play again. And the experience that I had on Saturday was amazing, because I always was in this kind of format of warm-up. So I'm beginning to master quite well, because the warm-up is a bit tricky sometimes, because you don't have to push too much, because you have someone, a DJ that is coming after you, so you have to respect him, and you have to push a little bit to make people dance. So you need to try to find a balance.
Yeah, that's like indeed, it's almost like an art of itself, like warming up for someone else, because you know, you always think like you want to show what you're about, but indeed you have to like a little bit watch and respect the artist that maybe has more of a bigger name because he played many years already. Yeah, like it's tricky. I can imagine, and it's amazing that DJs and artists actually can do a good warm up as well, because those are the guys you really want at your event as well. Because like hosting an event, you always try to, well, I guess other organizers as well, you try to like create a whole dynamic throughout the whole evening. So if you got an artist who opens and just says, fuck it, I'm the man, and plays really hard, and then the next one is a bit more chill, I don't know, it doesn't really create the vibe you want to. So yeah, man. Yeah, let's maybe talk about like your musical journey, because you play guitar on top of just like doing live synths and a DJ set. Like, how did you start implementing guitar into your set? Or maybe did you probably first start playing guitar in a band, or like how did this go?
So first of all, I have to say this. So I'm Italian, and I live here in Belgium because I was born here in Belgium. I was in an international school. I was in the Italian section, so that's why I'm here. And now I'm married, and I'm living in Brussels. And yeah, of course, I played guitar since the age of 6 years old. So I'm a guitarist, and I played for more than 15 years with 2 different bands.
Okay, nice.
It was a more jazz funk band, and I was always blending my sound with electronic stuff, always. It was a kind of difficult sometimes, because you know, when you play in a band, a band is a kind of false democratic family, you know?
I see, yeah.
Because you have sometimes one leader and one direction that is done by someone, that is given by someone, and if you have other musical ideas, it's not always easy. And that was my experience on that band, because I was always in trying to mix the electronic parts and sounds with my guitar. So when you do a jazz funk production, you have to stay more pure with your sound, so it wasn't always easy. And but then we continued because I'm quite a Pacific guy, so I wasn't fighting every time. But just the year before the COVID, I had, during all these years, I had a lot of production that I was doing myself.
Mm-hmm.
That were
Before COVID.
Before COVID.
Yeah.
That were a production more electronic. I was doing in my home studio. And before COVID, I was talking with my wife. She said, but whatever are you doing with all your... How many tracks do you have on your hard drive? And I said, yeah, a lot, more than 100, you know. And she said, okay, and what are you going to do with all these tracks? And nothing, I was thinking, and I said, yeah, actually, I have some ideas about music, and maybe it's time for me to go by myself and to share these ideas to people. And that's how I started. So my main idea, like you said, is that I like to implement and to combine my guitar with electronic music, kind more techno music and house music. But it's a journey. It depends. I don't like to define myself in one style. But definitely I have some techno grooves and some house grooves in my music. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, it's I get that. Like I have issues trying to define myself as well. Like now I'm about to release my first track again. Like I actually released a track, like an EP, two years ago, maybe a bit longer. But this was like at the beginning of, I was producing for like 3 months, and this was more like a bit, it was, how to define it again. It was like a bit harder techno, like 136 BPM, and then I was producing for like 3 months, and I put them on SoundCloud, and somebody contacted me, told me he wanted to release it, so I was like super excited and I did it. But then after that, like continuing my learning process of producing, I noticed that my style was changing. And also, like, honestly, I did the mastering process myself, and it was just not really good. Like the 2 tracks on the EP, like one was over-bassed and the other one I didn't like anymore. So I took that down. So now I'm in the process again of like releasing a new track, and this is, like you would call it, melodic house, but I have also darker stuff. So now I'm at this point where I don't really know which direction I want to go, because in the music industry people expect you to be like, have your style and you have to stay with that style, but it's hard. You know?
It's hard, yeah, because it's like more electronic music industry is very organized in a kind of cases.
Yeah, in like subcategories, and I feel that.
And also, people in the industry, they like to put you and categorize yourself. Okay, you are that kind of music, you do that kind of music. But at the end, for me, the most important is to really enjoy what you're creating. And if you are creating something more darker, it's good that you can release it, because it's also part of yourself. I also make music more techno style music, more art techno music. and I like it because it's also part of me, of my personality. I'm not always happy. I'm sometimes upset. Sometimes sad, and I think it's something that the most important is that the music is very near what you are.
Like authentic.
Yeah.
And
And so if you can have, I have periods that I'm really having hard time. So I need, during that hard time, I will produce something maybe that is near that sad moment. Maybe it will be hard, techno more hard, but it's okay. The important thing is to be honest and near of what you are living.
does it help you like deal with your emotions and like try like how to say this, like express it but also like try to get it off you, you know?
Well, for me, for me, really, music is something therapeutic for me, I will say, because sometimes I don't have the words to say something. I don't have the words to explain what kind of emotion I'm living. But with music, I can tell a story about myself, about what I'm feeling. And I can see that kind of work, it helps me to pass through that moments, For me, it's important because, and also I can see that in other people, because I was also working part-time as an educator with special needs autistic children and young people.
Like you still are, or?
Now I'm not anymore working about that. I work in a school. I have some hours of in a school of religion teacher, and but I could see during the time that I was working with these autistic children that when we were doing projects around music, there was something that was going on with them. There was a communication that was possible with them that couldn't be possible in like we are talking now.
Yeah, it's something amazing. Like I try to reflect on music and what it is, and it's hard to put into words. Like I sometimes even struggle to believe it's like only a human experience. I think it's something like really universal that makes us like the rational human beings we are a bit more primitive again, because if we feel music, like doesn't matter if you go to like a big festival with 100,000 people, if there's good music, like everybody's just at peace dancing together, and this makes us really connected with like with music. But what is music? It's like some sort of energy in the universe that somehow we can put in a pattern and rhythm, and it goes from the producer or the artist or the band to like the people. But it's not something, it's hard to believe that humans make this. I think it's something we can like tap into, and we're like the conduct, like the messenger, but the music is something in the universe. I don't know, like it's like I said, it's hard to sometimes put this into words what music is, and I try to reflect on it a lot. Like what you said about that music helps you express emotions and stuff, it also does for me, but I feel like I'm not super professional yet, and sometimes it's you know I'm still learning. It's hard to get everything that I want to, like how to produce a track and get the idea I have in my head, um, and let it sound the way I want to. You know, it's like I'm still learning, so sometimes I get a bit frustrated, and then I think like, but fuck, I have to, because I started this journey as an artist, like a DJ producer, and then I have to produce something, and I try to, you know, like be on social media a lot, because this is a big part of like your journey as a upcoming artist. And then I forget why I'm actually doing this. Like, I do this because I love music, you know? So I have to think about it again and again. And then sometimes I get a moment again, and then something, yeah, when I'm in the studio and it actually works, it's an amazing experience. You, like, I can get stuck into a process of like, I don't know, like 6 hours just being in the studio, or like I told you before we started the podcast, somewhere in nature. That's the best thing, man. Like last time I went to like a holiday home in Germany from friends and their family, and this was still when it was summer, so I ended up like putting a desk in the garden, and they have a really big garden with like 20 apple trees, and like no village or like houses in the background, so only like fields, trees, and like a hill, and just being there in nature and producing, and then it like in the beginning you have to get there, but once you get there and it starts flowing, it's amazing.
Yes.
But like it's not always that for me. Sometimes it's like being in the studio, or trying to make music, and like fuck, it's not coming. It's like I'm not getting there, and then I get a bit demotivated. So it's still a process, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, what I notice for myself is that I I'm linked with music, because I can see also that um, it's also a way for me to express something. You know, I came from Italy, from Sardinia. Sardinia is an island, so I have in my genes, in my blood, there is this kind of island mentality. We are very silent, actually. I had a father that wasn't talking with me. He never talked about himself, and he never asked me about myself. So when you grew up like that, you're kind of you develop a kind of mutism, you know. And for me, music, it was a way also to express something. For that, a track for me is not also a production, a kind of sounds together. No, it's a story. So sometimes it's a story that I want to tell to my entourage, or to someone, maybe someone that I met, or sometimes indirectly. But I have this kind of approach with music. So I like to really create and write a story of something. I can be a story about a feeling that I have, or a story that about something that I lived and I wasn't happy about it. And yeah, in my life I had quite a lot of things about that. Also because, well, this is very personal, but I'm not, it's okay for me to share it, it's not a problem.
Yeah, sure.
But I lost my mom when I was 5 years old. She died after giving birth to my small sister. 2 hours later, she had a medical problem and she died. And so I grew up since the age of 5 years old without this figure. You know?
Yeah, it must be quite tough.
Yeah. So for me, and also that's something also, life is mysterious, but my mom was passionate about electronic music.
Oh, really?
I still have it. I have vinyls of Jean-Michel Jarre.
Oh, really? That's like...
She was listening to Jean-Michel Jarre every time. When she was cleaning, she was listening to Jean-Michel Jarre.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so she was in love with electronic music. So I grew up also with this kind of history, background. And for me also, now producing in an electronic music style is a kind of continuing a little bit my mom passion,
Yeah, like the memory, like keeping the memory of her alive through the music.
And well, it's not something that I talk easily, but it's something important for me. And yeah, I have to be honest. If I see the reason why I'm now producing, the reason why I'm a musician, and why I'm performing, and why I'm writing all this music, I think my mom is here also helping me about this kind of
yeah,
production.
I can imagine if she was to look down onto this earth, that she'd be proud, man.
Yeah.
Like, you have amazing music, and you see how, when you play, how passionate you are, and like it flows. And you can also tell you've been playing guitar for a long time. Like, I always admire like good musicians, and it's nice to see how someone can just jam and flow, like. About that, actually, do you like improvise on your sets? Do you just like literally jam in the moment, or do you have some riffs that you practiced, or maybe a bit of both?
A bit of both, I will say. Normally, what I do is that I need to feel the moment, so I let myself a kind of freedom on changing at the moment the kind of riff, the kind of guitar picking or melodies that I will do. Of course, I have to respect the scale of the track, but that's not a problem. But yeah, it's true. Most of the time, I leave this freedom during the live performances, because I'm like that. I like to change a little bit, and also it's also something that I impose to myself, because I was always thinking something that, for example, when I went looking some of my preferred artists, I remember I listened to a lot of kind of music, and not only electronic music.
Yeah, I bet.
For example, there was an artist that I really loved. It was Ben Harper. Ben Harper is doing like a kind of guitar that is here, like this. He puts his guitar and he slides. It's a kind of rock style, very acoustic.
Yeah.
And what I really loved about his concert is that he was playing a track, and it was completely different than what you could hear in the CD. And he explained that, and it's something that I want also to and that I do in my live set, is that I take one track of myself that I produced and I change it completely. Because if I propose exactly the same track that is in the production, I think people could listen to the track at home, No, what's the point to come to listen to Mattisix, and it just that you have exactly the same track that you can have at home. So I have this obsession.
Yeah.
It's a kind of obsession, I have to be honest, but I like to transform completely the track.
Well, that's amazing. So every time you play, it's like a
Something
different
new,
experience.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's. I have to say, it's. I tried the same a little bit when I DJ in a whole set. You know, every set is a bit different, but of course, you know, like I don't do anything live, so obviously, if I recorded at home, people could listen to it as well. But who knows? Maybe at some point when I get like more musical knowledge into me, and I keep doing this, I also implement something. You know, like I can do live. I was looking at the. I'm not gonna buy it, but I was looking at it, like the like a Pioneer RMX
Yeah,
1000,
yeah.
and this somehow you like it's an addition on a DJ set where you like can implement like 99 kicks, hats, and like it's almost like a bit of a sampler, and you can like almost remix a track on the like in the moment, and it looked really interesting. But then again, I'm like always trying to do many things at the same time. Now I just need to focus on getting my music out, getting the podcast started, and
Yeah, well, it's a kind of different. It's a kind of different journey if you want to propose a kind of live more sets, because I know that also the production is something, but the live performance for me is really different. So I can to explain more in an easy way. I can make an example. For example, if you take I will do a kind of demo afterwards, like this you can see. But if you imagine a cook chef, it has all the ingredients here, and he will say, okay, this time I start with strawberries, and then I'll put some juice, and then I'll put some. Okay, I play next week. I say, okay, this time I'm not starting with strawberries, but to do that you need separate sounds. If your sounds are all linked together, you can't do it. So for me, if you we will see it afterwards, but I have all the sounds that are separated. Nothing is linked. So that's me during the live performances that I'm gonna link. And yes, it's true. Sometimes I change the order of the sequence, and because I feel it like that. Sometimes I start with the guitar, and then I put just a kick, nothing else. And sometimes I say, okay, no kick for 2 minutes, just letting the groove come, and then boom, I put the kick and all the rhythm stuff. It depends actually, also in the moment what I feel, and yeah. But that's something that I always keep in mind during my live performance. It's not easy to make people understand what I'm doing, because sometimes they have the impression that I'm just doing a DJ set. They just see me pushing buttons, but that's not a problem.
other so so there's like multiple things in this. Indeed, like you have the audience that just listens to the music and is happy with just whatever, with good music, and then you have like other artists, for instance, who really appreciate, you know, the craft of how this is all coming together. It's like the same example when, you know, like like when you have like super high quality sound systems, other artists and DJs like really appreciate this, But usually people in general, they just, if they hear music, they're just happy and they dance, you know. Like I started listening to music like completely differently when I started my musical journey, like starting producing. Like I started during COVID actually, and then also I had a period of like over a year I didn't do anything because I was into some depression for a while, but I got out of it. And but anyway, like I just started, so like in the past 3 to 4 years, and I have to say like music is completely different now. When I listen to a track on the radio or like on a really good sound system, I hear like all these small details and it's so nice. And I also think about how did the artist, you know, the producer make this. And like I said, when I see someone playing, it's so amazing. It's so amazing to see. So, and that's also why I booked you at the Techno Bliss event. Like it's almost within the realm of DJ producers. Like a live set is always still a little bit more, you know. It's like about the craft, and yeah, it's nice to experience something like this.
Yeah.
As a fellow artist and a music lover. But I guess most people will. I think when you show people more on your socials and when you get more out there, people will start to actually notice that you do all these things. I have a video of Techno Bliss where you can see you play on the synths, and then you do some mixing and then play the guitar, and it's nice to watch that.
Yeah. Well, it depends of the event. But in Techno Bliss, I remember I was sequencing. I had my keyboard. I'm not always taking, also because it's a problem of the space that I'll have sometimes.
Uh-huh.
For example, on Saturday, I didn't have any space.
Yeah, I saw you sometimes. You disappeared because you were like this.
Yeah, because
What did you have down there?
I had my mixer. I will show you how I perform. So I decide for each time I decide what kind of live synthesizer I take. I always have my guitar, and but I change my synthesizer. It depends. And then I have a mixer that is my main mixer. It's not too big. It's a 12 track mixer from Soundcraft, and that has a very pure sound. I really love the sound. And so I was changing the volume of some of the stuff underneath, because I didn't have the place.
Yeah, it was a pretty small booth.
It was small. Sometimes they were passing and I was squashed.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, on Techno Bliss it was a bit bigger.
Yeah, it was bigger. It was bigger.
And we'll see how we set up here afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, we can get rid of the TV or maybe put it over there. We'll see about that.
Or we can put it here.
Yeah. Mm.
We can put it here.
Yeah, we can actually do that. And you play sitting?
Yeah, I can play it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's also good. Maybe that's a nice idea.
Yeah, we can play here. I just put everything here, and then I show how we produce, and then make you a small demo or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Maybe let's talk a bit about your sound as well. Like I noticed a few things. So I was listening also again to your music before you got here, and I noticed there's like sometimes a bit, especially the vocals is like a bit old school trancey, and then you got like these really modern melodic techno melodies into it, and then sometimes I hear a bit of like the you know, like the typical bass sound that Stefan Botzin also has. So it's interesting to listen to it. And maybe a question to you, like where do you get your inspiration from? Do you have like favorite artists? That doesn't need to be electronic music, actually. I don't know what's happening.
No, it's my watch.
Oh, it's your watch.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, is it still recording? But yeah, so like, do you have, what's your inspiration and what are your favorite artists?
Yeah, you mentioned Stefan Bodzin. It's true that it's an artist that I really love.
He is
Yes, it
amazing,
is.
amazing.
I went. I think I went 5 or 6 times to see.
Yeah,
To see.
I
Live.
think I got like 4 times
Yeah.
of watching him play.
Yeah. No, it's amazing because I like the approach that he has on producing and on performing, and it's kind of very similar on what the thing that I want to propose sometimes. But it's true, it doesn't have a lot of vocals on his tracks. It's more instrumental. They are longer also. I like to put vocals because it gives more. I don't like to say that, but more commercial touch on the track, because with vocals, people, they are like, I know that, you know. When you listen to vocals, you are like in a comfort zone, you know, and sometimes, most of the time, when the track is a bit dark, you know, the vocal is a kind. Okay.
Yeah.
It's something that.
I feel that. Yeah.
So I like, yeah, I like to, and also sometimes I try to. So I work with in two way with vocals. Sometimes I do it myself. Sometimes I ask to singers to come in studio and to record it, or sometimes I take some old tracks, I isolate the vocal, and I put it like that. It depends of the track, but the vocals for me has this kind of utility, you know, really to help people to be in this comfort zone. Okay, I know this kind of stuff. In my last production, for example, I also use some kind of weird vocals, but they have a meaning for me. So, for example, I have a track that I just produced. It's called "The Island," and is inspired from my island, Sardinia.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
And so I used a kind of sound of men's doing a kind of rituals, you know. The vocal says like "who," comes like that, and it remembers what the kind of sounds that you can find there in Sardinia, because in Sardinia you have a lot of religious moments,
Yeah.
and you have this kind of figures that appears and they are acting with this kind of sounds. So yeah, it depends on the track, but most of the time the vocal has this kind of of utility on my production. But I'm not using in all the tracks. I've got some tracks that are completely instrumentals. It depends. And about the artist that I'm inspired, Stefan Botzin, definitely. Also, NTO is a French producer.
Yeah, I know.
I really loved the way the melodic progression that it's able to create. For me, it's a very special artist. I met him in a musical shop. He was really kind with me, taking picture. We exchanged a little bit, and And then yeah, I also have other kind of inspiration, more harder, even Belgian. For example, Charlotte de Witt.
Yeah.
For me, I remember one time I did a kind of Instagram story. It was totally improvised because I was listening to Charlotte, and there was a track, very art techno track, and I started doing a kind of funky riff with my guitar on top of this track, and yeah, it changed a little bit the track, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this is something that I really love to do. It's like I use again the cooking example, because for me it's exactly like that I see music. Sometimes you have a recipe, okay? You know that, for example, spaghetti alla bolognese, you do it like that. But sometimes you say, okay, but I will change. I will do it without sauce.
Yeah, and maybe add some basilicum.
For example. And then the taste changes, is not the official one. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can't really say that is hard techno, but you have this kind of funky groove that is going on. The most important is to enjoy the moment, and it's the way I see music, you know. I have, first of all, I have to enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm sure that if I'm enjoying, people, I can find people that they are enjoying also the kind of mix,
Yeah, well,
you know.
Yeah, I enjoy your music.
But I'm not afraid. I'm not doing music for people, you know.
Yeah.
I'm doing music because I like, and sometimes I like an idea, and yeah, and I will produce it like that.
Do you have like specific goals you want to achieve, or is it just about performing music?
No, I don't have a specific goals. I just want to express myself and to propose this kind of approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not ambitious, or I don't want to be top in the hits. I just love to make music. I love to share. I love also to make some production with other artists.
Oh, maybe we could collab on a project.
Absolutely.
That would be nice. Yeah, like first I need to get my first single out again, and I have some other tracks that I need to get out there and see how I promote it, and like, you know, all this the checklists of the release, and so I need to plan this a bit good. But I'd love to work on a project together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard for me, I think, because like I tend to have this feeling when I produce with other people, especially if they're better than me. You know, like they have more musical knowledge, then I tend to keep myself a bit more in the background. But I have actually never worked on a track together with another artist, being alone in the studio, then sending it, then he works or she works on it, and then sending it back. So I could try this, like, and send the sport, you know, like the how they call the
stems.
The stems, yeah, and that could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
We could, well, we see where we release it, but like I have the Techno Bliss label now as well. I'm gonna, so the first track I'm gonna release, I'm gonna like self-release on my own Techno Bliss label, and this is just something I really wanted to do, because I want to get the track out. Like I got some feedback from other artists, and I played this particular track on some events, and I got some good feedback. So maybe if I do the effort, I could get actually get it released by another label, but I just want to do it myself.
Absolutely.
And then,
And I think you're right. I
yeah,
think you're right. No, definitely.
yeah, like it's either I release music on semi big labels or I do it myself and see that it gets like proper promotion. Because like the first EP I released on the other label, I had no idea how to do any of it. Back then I was like producing for 3 months. I got super excited, I released it, and that's it. Like the music was somewhere out there with no promotion campaign behind it. It got like maybe 1,000 streams in total over the past 2 years, and like yeah, that was it. Like it was somewhere out there in the world, but nobody listened to it because there's so much music that gets put out there. So this one I want to do myself, and I'm gonna like promote it, get into playlists, and do all stuff like this. So but after that, we could
Okay.
work on a project together,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I'm excited for this. Yeah, like yeah.
Good. Yeah, I always enjoy this kind of collaborations. I'm not the kind of artist that likes to impose the things because I think in two heads you have more than in one, and also because you come with your background and your philosophy and your vision of the music, and yeah, the collaboration is nice when you can reach together to a result that suits the two of us,
Yeah, sure.
and also it can expand a little bit the kind of vision that I can have about my music. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Like, indeed, like you told me a bit about your journey, and like for me, music also is something special. Like I often have to think about which way I go, and I do have some ambitions. I really love to be only doing music and get an income from that, so I don't have to do my other job or like other jobs in general. But apart from my ambitions, like the reason I'm doing this is I had some pretty dark times in my life as well. Not that I had so many bad things happening. It's just like how my mind works a bit. Like I told before, like I got into some depressions, and I have ADHD, and it's sometimes hard to structure my life and discipline myself. So sometimes I get a bit lost. But actually, since I started doing music, this gives me purpose. So it like my journey in music and my learning process, and it's literally I see it as my growth process as a human being towards like a life where I have more control over things. I'm more able to express my emotions and guide myself to a purpose, whereas before I think I was living a bit without a purpose or something, and this sometimes demotivated me in general. So yeah, I think when multiple artists work together and they have their own visions, and this could create something beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also it's something that music is richer also, because you come with if well, you were saying, yeah, I'm not so good as you, but I don't think you have to think like that.
I know.
You have your I think you have very, very good skills in something, and also some very, very good ideas. So it's just something to share together, and then the result is we taste together the track, and then if it tastes good, it tastes good. If we need to improve or change some ingredients, we still gonna work on it. But yeah, I think the collaboration, it's always nice to make it, and I think it's also nice to make it with people that have this kind of approach to life and to music, because I remember during my band experience, it wasn't so easy for me, because I wasn't able to not to impose, but just to make the others listen to what I wanted to express. And so for me, it wasn't always easy, because when you are with people that they are not listening to you, they just listen to themselves and to their idea of the track or the music. It's a kind of hard for the others.
I can imagine. Like I was earlier this week, I was thinking, this is like something completely different, but in a sense, it's also a creative process. So I'm about to get a new tattoo, and I was thinking, well, actually, I'm gonna let the artist completely decide how it's gonna look, and give him like the freedom to you know, like to create this, because I understand that as an artist, it's nice to be creative, and I think for especially like tattoo artists, but maybe artists in general, if you get told to do like one specific thing, like it's a bit similar when you have to play somewhere as a DJ, and they give you like strict guidelines, you know, like you have to play hard because it's in a club, or you have to play not that type of music. You get limited, and it's like not so much fun, of course. You know, you'd like to have the freedom. So I think it's always a good thing to respect other artists and listen to their vision and try to create something like this.
Yeah, well, it's not always easier. For example, you're making me think about an experience that I had in a club in Brussels. I'm not saying what club is it, but I was starting to play. It was a very nice place. There was a acoustic piano, very beautiful one over there. So I put my Moog on top, and I started playing the set with that. And then the promoter came and asked me to play a kind of commercial track, you know, and I was performing. I was there like, oh my God, but what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
I just decided to continue what I was doing, because this guy wasn't respecting me as an artist, you know what I mean? So I think the best of all, just to be good with ourselves, is just to keep the direction, okay, that we want to go, even if around, you know, the movement is not always in your direction.
Yeah, I understand.
Just for me, it's important to have it clear. Now even more than before, but my idea of music is very clear. So what kind of performance I want is very clear. So when I deal for a gig, I'm very transparent, and people, they know what kind of thing I can do. But yeah, we are also living a period that is very difficult, very strange, because now I think also people, they use DJs like they were a Spotify playlist performance guy, you know.
Yeah.
And so I can see people, they come and they ask you some tracks like you were a Spotify playlist performer. Like, no, man, I've prepared this set.
Yeah. I have an example of this. Well, it was different. So you get like, you have like two major places as a DJ in the world. It's, you go like the artistic way and try to develop yourself as an artist, or you become a DJ that plays at weddings and you know, like business parties, and maybe people can do both as well. But I actually got an offer from a friend, like a really generous offer. I was super happy he offered this job to me, but I got like a whole track list sent. Like, yes, so this is the theme. The theme was like games and gaming from, I don't know, back in the 90s. And in the list was like R&B tracks, soundtrack of GTA, then some Nintendo tracks. But the list was like, it was like 50 tracks, and I had to do a whole night. And I was like thinking in before, like, first, like how the fuck am I gonna mix R&B with house and techno? Maybe I'm not a skilled DJ to do that. But also, like, what's the fun in that? You know, it would have been my best paid gig, and I declined. And later on, I thought like, fuck, maybe I should actually prepare myself to be able to do this kind of gigs as well, just so I can do more DJing and playing music in general. But at the same time, I really miss the artistic way of actually DJing, you know. So I declined it, but but yeah, it's just something funny because like I declined it, but it was gonna be my best paid gig.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sometimes we need to make choices, eh?
Yeah. I wrote down some questions. I think actually most of them we talked about. Let me see. But maybe some I missed. Oh yeah, so here's one. What is your own personal favorite track of yourself? Like one you produced yourself? I honestly I like The Prayer a lot.
Prayer.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm interested, you know, what's your favorite track?
Yeah, I think the prayer is a very special track. So it came out as a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I put the title The Prayer. And actually, it was a track that started with the texture that I put it, and it was all improvised, like you were doing a prayer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So it was a kind of meditation. That's also why it's a bit long, and it doesn't really respect the kind of measures that normally you have for the drop, the intro, and all the stuff. But I really didn't care about that when I was producing that track. For me, I wanted to keep it spontaneous, like I was doing a prayer. So I don't know if you pray often, but when I pray, I'm very spontaneous, so I don't even prepare myself. I just speak whatever in my heart is telling me, and that's exactly how I produced that track. Another nice track that I really like is Freedom, mm-hmm. Because it's a kind of similar of the prayer, in the sense that I didn't want to be stuck in the production references that you normally have. I know that when you start producing, you will have some basics that will start. First, you need a reference track. You need to analyze the reference track. You need to reproduce the kind of measures like this. You're sure you stick to this kind of style. Personally, it's something that I get bored.
I can see that.
Okay, so I just like to just let the freedom of the composition coming out. That's my approach to music. I know that it can some people can like it, some people are not gonna like it. I don't care personally, because I'm not looking...
Well, that's the best mindset.
No, I don't care, because I just that's my way to express myself. So I'm not doing music for being successful or to be on the top radio or something like that. I'm just doing music because it's my way to propose music to the world. That's why. So yes, I will say The Prayer. Maybe, yeah, it's a very special track for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be sure to edit.
Okay.
After and edit it in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then
also about the prayer.
Yeah.
Is that I had an amazing experience, because normally I try to make a kind of visual or video clip. It depends of the possibilities that I have. And for the prayer, I had a very unique meeting. In Instagram, there was a girl that sent me a message. She is a professional dancer, and she lives in Mexico. She's Italian, and her name is Elisabetta, and she said to me, okay, I listened to your track, and it was too much emotions for me, so I started to cry. And I'm a professional dancer. I really want to make a choreography on your track. And I said, okay, thank you very much. So
that's a big compliment.
Yeah, and so we talked together, and she said, okay, I will organize here in Mexico a shooting with my friends, and a friend of her that she is also a dancer, and they made the official video clip of the prayer that you can find in YouTube, and you can see this choreography on the beach in Mexico. And it was a collaboration with them that was so spontaneous, exactly like a prayer will be, you know. And yeah, for me, these kind of things are more important than whatever success, you know.
Yeah.
Because
that's beautiful.
I linked a very beautiful friendship with this dancer, and we talked together. We exchange a lot of stuff, artistic stuff, and yeah, for me it's something unique. Only music can do that. And in this case, it's music and dance, so it's a kind of beautiful mix.
That's a beautiful experience. So I indeed love the spontaneous stuff as well, and like actually our mutual friend now, Carlos.
Yeah.
He's the one that let me use all this equipment. So how I met him was, I came back from 4 months being in Sri Lanka, and I was there to focus on music. So I went to Sri Lanka without knowing anybody. Well, no, actually there was a few friends of mine there, but not in the music scene. So the first month I was there, I was like trying to network a lot, being in all these different bars and places and hotels to meet other artists and promoters, and you know, and it actually worked out pretty well. After a month, I got a residency on a rooftop somewhere, and I played actually every weekend, like once. So this was for me like a really nice accomplishment. And then I got back to Belgium, and I was like, yeah, maybe I want to help other people in Belgium, you know, expats and backpackers that are in Belgium that also have a passion for music but don't have the network yet. So I posted a message in a Facebook group like expats in Belgium. I think it's called something like this, or expats in Antwerp. And like I posted like the story, you know, I went to Sri Lanka and I met all these people and I put a lot of effort into networking. And but if you also like house and techno music and you need some people in the scene, holla at me and message me and we can maybe meet and do some stuff together. And Carlos was one of a few that messaged me, and then he came to the Techno Bliss event. He actually helped me set up a few of the equipment there, and we became actually pretty good friends. And he was super excited to be involved back into music because he was working another job. He was in Belgium for like a few years, but lost his connection with music. So like this like spontaneous interaction made us become friends. And then because he was there, he met you.
Absolutely.
And now he changed his job through you, and now he's doing like marketing stuff that he likes, and he's helping you as well with some things.
Yeah.
So this is like
it's in my team now.
yeah.
It's
So
in my team.
I also love this like spontaneous interactions of humans through music or like through mutual passions, and yeah, it's just a nice little story there. But yeah, I think I'll be seeing you.
About that, what I want to say is that, you know, I think in life, well, this is my way to think about life, but in life we can meet different kind of people, you know, but I'm sure that like me, you also have people that are around you that are special, you know, that are really they are good people, you know. You look at them, you talk with them, you spend time with them, and they are good people. And you know, what I think about that is that when you surround with good people, there is something in common on these good people, and Charlie is one of them, because I think good people, also artistically and musically, they are good, because these good vibes that they can have when you meet them, when you spend time with them, it's also in their way to compose, in their ways to see life, to approach to their work, and and at the opposite, you have bad people.
Yeah.
They are criticizing you every time, that they are telling bad things about the others, always complaining. For me, they are not so good artistically and musically, because they are frustrated about that. They are not able to be good with others.
Yeah, I could see that, and it's indeed like I like to surround myself as well with people who just have this positive energy about life, because I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and I can really like even I'm so sensitive that when I'm in a room with like 10 people, if somebody's having a bad day or like for some reason decides to be a bit more in the background, like I always notice, and I'm like a bit focused on this, and like it does something with me emotionally. And it's not always a bad thing, of course. Like I've learned to love myself as an emotional or like really sympathetic guy, but I have to be cautious about who I spend my time with, because if I spend my time with negative people, this really has a big impact on myself, and I tend also to be a bit more negative.
Yeah,
Like
that's right.
I do believe a bit in the law of attraction, that you like, yeah, just like being in the same vibe with other people, it attracts, like if you have a good mindset, it attracts good things. And maybe you're indeed able to express yourself better and create good music. And then this creates opportunities to meet other people and like all this. So I understand what you're saying.
What's really amazing is that you know thanking to you, I met Carlos, and then also Iman
Yeah.
from Did Berlin. That is the label that I signed 2 tracks with them. It's an amazing guy, actually.
I know.
I
I
talked
haven't
with
met him in person.
really. I talked with him first time, I think 2 years ago. I never been respected as he respected me. Musically, artistically, really is a precious guy. Really.
Well, and also because I sensed this. Like he told me, you should get in contact with this guy. He lives in Brussels, so it's not that far from Antwerp. It's still Belgium. And he told me you were like an amazing artist, and I could sense he respected you, and I respect Iman because he has really beautiful music,
Beautiful music.
and he does a lot of effort to accomplish his style in the music industry. So I respect his opinion. So when he respects you as an artist, I think like, okay, I'm gonna give Matteo like a chance, and then
No, it's something that really helped me also continuing, because it's a long journey. We have to
yeah,
be honest.
you get like good periods of time, and then you get
Exactly.
bad ones, and then
Exactly, and then you meet a lot of people and not a lot of professionals, and they are not always very nice. But
also true, yeah.
and when you get criticized for something, it can be tough. It can be tough. But Iman was really a precious person during this journey for me, and it is actually until now. So yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Iman Dieper. He makes
Yeah.
a beautiful melodic house. People should definitely check him out.
Yeah.
I'll put a link in the description, and also to your music, and maybe also if it comes simultaneously, also to my track that I'm gonna release, and then I think like for this section of the podcast, it's gonna be followed up by either you talking about how you do your music,
Yeah.
and recording a bit of the audio, and how you play. I'm looking forward to that. But before we end it, I actually I uploaded a video that we were gonna do the podcast, and I asked the audience if they had a good question to ask you, and actually one of my friends commented that I should ask you about the famous quote and about the famous track as well. Is music the answer? You know the track. Music is the answer
Yeah.
to your problems. Like
Yeah.
so. This begs the question: is music the answer?
Very nice question. We're gonna thank your friend. No, yeah, for me it's yes. It's a possible answer. It's not the unique answer. I have to be honest, but I think it has a very important place in answering to life and to yeah, because it's important also to have the possibility to go through the different thing that you're gonna live, and I think that music really is one of the best
Yeah.
solution about because it has a lots of energy and a lots of vibrations that can touch without spending a lot of words talking about it, or without. And also something interesting that I like of music is that, for example, you can listen to a track, I'm going to listen to it, and it's going to touch you for some reason, and maybe it's going to touch me for other reasons. But it's the same track.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's only music can do that. In the sense that when you start arguing, you already want to convince the other that you're right and he is wrong. And music is not like that. Music for me is respectful.
Yeah.
Really. It can respect you, respect me, respect another one at the other part of the world, but still the same track can touch the three of us in different ways. For me, I can be emotionally touched. You can be super happy. It can be like, okay, this track makes me think about this. Yeah, for me, sometimes we have to speak less and maybe perform more.
Yeah, perform more. And yeah, I see that. It's a nice answer. Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. So music is the answer.
So music is the answer. Yeah.
Yeah, like I always, when I think about this, I always think about, like, once watched a documentary about Bob Marley and like the civil war in Jamaica back then. I don't know completely the specific details anymore, but I do remember that he was able to actually, through music, let the two opposing party leaders of the political parties shake hands, because he was on the stage with an audience, everybody's enjoying the music, and he's like ignoring all the riots going on and just like expressing the music, and like it was so powerful. And I think it's amazing to see how like music just evaporates differences between people, you know. And I think especially in the world today, where there's a lot of heavy debates and wars going on about a lot of different issues, music can be a powerful tool to unite people again.
Unite, and also, yeah, because this connection, it's something that is very powerful for music. For example, I think about this, that I can be in connection even with my mom that is not here anymore, with music. Or even if you go in a funeral and there is a music playing, you have a kind of moment of connection with the person is there, the body is there, and you're there like, okay, how can this is possible? But you're living that precise moment, and the music is part of this linking moment.
It's crazy how, like, music, when you listen to a track, like a song that, for instance, I have this with, I linked some of the albums. So I used to listen a lot to heavy metal and punk, and I actually listened to a lot of music throughout many different phases of my life, like hardstyle. Then I got a dubstep drum and bass phase, then like hardcore punk metal. So like now when I listen to some of the tracks from back then, I got like instantly like back into the memory and the feeling of me being like a 17-year-old kid playing Need for Speed, because that, you know, I remember the soundtrack from that game, or like some concert I went to, and it's such a powerful tool to remember experiences.
True.
It's really nice. It's
It
really
is.
nice.
It is absolutely.
But yeah, so thank you for coming. We'll continue with the different the other segments of the
Yeah.
podcast. But for now, I think we did a great job at the
Yeah.
first podcast,
Yeah.
and maybe we could do this again in a while.
Okay.
And let's work on the collab.
Thank you inviting me.
You're welcome.